what they hear is we're going to have a saner, more sensible immigration policy.
Oh yeah, that is definitely the sense I got from watching those Trump rallies, is because of this guy. Now, since taking office around 412 years ago, so that is where we are currently at. We have a president capable of standing in the rain and saying it was a sunny day. If God did look down, his only thought would have been, wait, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir?
Did you see what happened when John Oliver ripped into Trump's Project 2025? The orange man lost his mind so badly it could have registered on the Richter scale, folks. But it's what Melania did next that has everyone talking. While Trump was busy tweeting threats at a comedian, his wife's reaction tells us everything we need to know about life in Trump Tower these days. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What happens when a reality TV star tries to redesign America? John Oliver just showed us, and Trump is seething like a microwave burrito left on high for too long. The British comedian took a flamethrower to Project 2025, and now Donnie Diapers can't stop throwing a fit about it. Project 2025 isn't just another Trump brain fart. It's actually a 900-page instruction manual for dismantling democracy and rebuilding it with gold-plated toilets. Oliver spent nearly 30 minutes exposing this monstrosity on his show, explaining how this plan would essentially give Trump powers that would make dictators around the world say, "Whoa, buddy, maybe dial it back a notch." The plan basically hands Trump a "you're fired" button for anyone in government who doesn't kiss his spray tan behind. We're talking judges, civil servants, even people who've had job security for decades.
He lied about being invited on this show and about the ratings for The Celebrity Apprentice. He pretended to be his own publicist. Even his building, Trump Tower, is not as big as he says it is. We are talking about the president like a Tinder match we've been on 4 dates with. I asked him if we were going to hang out this Friday, and he said, "Probably, ... I'm starving." How did we get a pathological liar in the White House? Where are his lies coming from? Why do so many people believe him? And what can we possibly do about it?
It made a lot of sense in his mind, because if you're renting a room, you'd rather be on the 14th floor than on the 6th floor.
Oliver pointed out that Project 2025 would let Trump replace thousands of government employees with his own loyal minions, like turning the White House into a Trump casino where all the dealers are required to complement his golf swing. In typical Oliver fashion, he didn't hold back on the insults, calling Trump America's wealthiest hemorrhoid and Rome burning in man form. These zingers clearly hit a nerve because Trump responded with a social media meltdown so epic it couldn't fit in one post. He went on a 3-screenshot rant with so many spelling errors it looked like his keyboard was having a seizure. The word loser appeared so many times and in so many creative misspellings that Merriam-Webster probably had to create a new entry. The orange turd even threatened legal action. That's right, a former president of the United States threatened to sue a comedian for doing comedy. It's like threatening to sue rain for making you wet.
Just 2 weeks ago, he tweeted, "Ungrateful traitor Chelsea Manning, who should never have been released from prison, is now calling President Obama a weak leader. Terrible," which is interesting.
And so when they hear things like the Muslim comment or the wall comment or things like that, it's not, the question is not, are you going to build a wall like the Great Wall of China?
If someone changed the channel to the Sprout Network, he'd tweet, "Caillou's life is boring even for a cancer kid. Sad." Trump has made it clear that reality is not important to him. Think about it. He's exaggerated the size of his inauguration crowd. He said the election was marred by mass voter fraud with no real proof of that.
Meanwhile, Fox News jumped in to defend poor little Trump, painting him as the victim in this situation. They ran segment after segment about how mean John Oliver was, completely ignoring the actual terrifying content of Project 2025. It's like focusing on someone's tone of voice while they're warning you your house is on fire. What Oliver really did was sound the alarm about Project 2025's true nature, a comprehensive roadmap for turning America into Trump's personal kingdom. The plan would gut federal agencies, stack courts with loyalists, and essentially create a presidency with training wheels removed. As Oliver put it, it's not just changing policies, it's changing the entire system of how our government works. Beyond the terrifying policies of Project 2025 lies another casualty of Trump's ego, Melania's facial muscles. The contrast between Trump bragging she loves being first lady and Melania looking like she'd rather be anywhere else has become the silent comedy track to this whole political disaster. Let's be honest, we've all seen it. While Trump was busy rage tweeting about John Oliver's takedown, Melania's face was telling a completely different story. She's mastered what Oliver brilliantly described as the "please help me" face that appears every time she stands within 10 feet of her husband. It's the kind of expression you'd expect from someone who just realized they're stuck in an elevator with a person who wants to tell them about their cryptocurrency investments. Trump constantly talks about how much Melania loves her role as First Lady, but her face suggests she'd rather be literally anywhere else, even at a gas station sushi buffet during a power outage. Body language experts have had a field day analyzing how she looks at Trump, noting that she often stares at him the same way most people would look at a hairball their cat just coughed up on their favorite rug. That's not exactly the dreamy gaze of a woman living her best life.
It was almost raining. The rain should have scared him away, but God looked down and he said, "We're not going to let it rain on your speech."
No, he didn't. That phrase was used on Fox News just 15 minutes before he tweeted in a segment which also called Manning an ungrateful traitor. And you would hope that as president, he'd now be getting information from primary sources and briefings, but Trump still watches a phenomenal amount of cable news.
When you hear 4.9 and 5% unemployment, the number's probably 28, 29, as high as 35. In fact, I even heard recently 42%.
During Trump's meltdown over Oliver's segment, Melania's expression was particularly telling. She looked like someone who suddenly remembered she forgot to include an escape clause in her prenup, while the Orange Menace was busy typing out all-caps rage tweets. His wife was reportedly doing what she does best, blinking "save me" in Morse code to anyone who might be watching. The contrast couldn't be more obvious if it was painted in gold and hanging in Mar-a-Lago. On one side, we have Trump's "everyone worships me" delusion, and on the other, we have Melania's "I'm basically in a hostage situation" face. And when critics pointed this out, Trump's defense squad tried to change the subject by attacking Oliver's British accent, because apparently having different vowel sounds is now somehow un-American. Sometimes comedy isn't just about making us laugh. It's the last defense against would-be dictators. As political scientists point out, Project 2025 isn't just another wacky Trump initiative. It's a genuine threat to America's democratic institutions. The whole thing reeks of authoritarianism with a side of golf cart. And throughout history, comedians have been the first to sound alarms when democracy starts circling the drain. During Watergate, it was satirists who helped Americans understand what was happening while keeping them sane. Now John Oliver is playing that same crucial role, using humor to expose serious dangers while keeping our attention. So yeah, we're laughing at Trump's bizarre vendetta against wind turbines, but the joke stops being funny when you realize Project 2025 is basically dictatorship for dummies. If we dismiss this as just another comedy bit, we might find ourselves wondering how we ended up with Trump's face on our money and his name carved into Mount Rushmore with a Sharpie.